Hello and welcome to the channel. I hope you're in the mood for some gain today because the pedal we're checking out certainly has plenty of that. Today we're going to be looking at the TC Electronics Eyemaster distortion. Now, as it says on the box, this is a metal distortion, so this is definitely aimed at the metal players, but unlike other metal branded pedals, this is even more specific than that. I'm guessing a fair few of you have clicked on this video because you're already aware of the reference and what this is going for. But for those of you who aren't, the name Eyemaster and the specific tone that this pedal is going for is related to a specific band, and arguably a specific album too. So for those of you who aren't as aware, the name Eyemaster refers to track 1 off of this album. This is Wolverine Blues by Entombed. Now, if you haven't checked this out or don't know this album, I highly suggest you do because it's a fantastic album. But this is a 90s Swedish death metal album with some great groove to it too. And Entombed especially, as well as a few other bands from that sort of era and area, are known for what's often referred to as the chainsaw style tone. And what that tone really is based around the Boss HM2. And what they would do is take that pedal and just turn everything to 10. The pedal we have here today, the Eyemaster, is, I'm not going to say a clone because it's a modified copy of the HM2. As you can see on the pedal cam, unlike the HM2 which has 4 controls, we only have 2 controls on this pedal. The HM2 also has a bass and a treble control. But what's been done with this is that they've effectively been gotten rid of. In a more technical sense, I believe that they have taken the potentiometers out and just replaced them with a fixed value resistor. That fixed value being at 10. So this pedal is very much that HM2 with gun control sort of sound. So on this pedal we still have gain and level control. And where these controls are at the moment is what you will have heard in the intro. But that's a little bit about the pedal and what it's aiming for, so let's hear it. So like I said, in the intro you heard the pedal with these controls, and that's going into my Marshall valve state. Now in that intro I was playing my Schecter Omen Elite 7 string. I've now switched over to my PRS S2 single cut semi-hollow, which is in D standard tuning just for some higher tuned stuff. With the PRS I'm still running through the Eyemaster and into the Marshall valve state, but we'll also switch over to a valve Marshall amp in a little bit just to give you some idea of what it sounds like into the front of a valve amp too. But starting off on the hybrid valve state, my clean tone sounds like this. And then with the pedal set, the same as how you heard it in the intro through the PRS, it sounds like this. So yeah, plenty of gain in that. Now as you can see at the moment I'm not running it in the traditional way with the controls all the way up, but we'll get to that. But I find that certainly with this amp it overwhelms the amp a little bit, and it just means that you get a lot of that sort of slightly nasty fuzzy thing that you get when you overwhelm a solid state power amp. But I'll give you some idea of that in a second. But just while we've got a reasonable volume level and we aren't overwhelming the amp, I just want to go through the gain control. So you've heard it with it 3/4 of the way up. And to be honest, the gain control doesn't vary a whole amount. This is with it at 3 o'clock. With it maxed out. Putting it back 12 o'clock. And then down to 9 o'clock. And then turning it all the way down. So really it's very distorted and broken up the whole way through, and I'm sure that by the time you're hearing it on the other end with a bit of the processing that YouTube tends to put on the videos, you might not hear a difference there. There is a little bit of a subtle difference in the room, but really it's minimal. And it's certainly a lot more extreme on the gain front than 99% of other pedals. So I'm now going to max out both controls just so you can hear what that sounds like through the valve state in the traditional manner. So as you can hear, it gets pretty nasty and gnarly with the valve state, but I just thought to start off with at least we should go through the valve state since I have one, just for the ultimate sort of 90s death metal tone, you know, the amp and the pedal being synonymous with that sort of genre. I'm now going to switch over to a Marshall SV20H, which is a Plexi style all valve head, and we'll see what that sounds like instead. Everything else is going to stay exactly the same. Okay, so we're now in the Marshall Plexi, and with that clean it sounds something like this. And then kicking in the Eyemaster again with the settings we had roughly from the start, it sounds something like this. So straight away to me that sounds quite different. It's a lot more sort of, I don't know, squelchy, and just this Plexi head is a 20 watt valve amp, whereas the amp we were using before, although it being solid state power section valve preamp, has 100 watts. And I do think with a pedal like this that has so much output and so much gain, it's just overwhelming the front end of this amp. And really with a pedal like this, headroom is super important. So I won't dwell on it with the Plexi for too long, because I think, to me at least, it doesn't sound as good, although some of you might prefer it. But I know I would get slaughtered in the comments if I didn't at least try it with the Plexi with it maxed out too. So here you go, turning the controls all the way up. So you're certainly getting that full-on proper chainsaw wall of sound, just ridiculous tone. And I guess that's what this pedal's all about, so it certainly will do it. Although for me personally, if I was going to use this pedal, I would use it with something with a bit more headroom and just take it back a touch just to make it more usable and more blendable with other tones. But hopefully that gives you some idea of what this pedal will do. It is quite a one-trick pony. It's pretty much, you know, gain or gain. But that being said, as I've hopefully shown, within the sort of gain thing, it has got some use. I mean, I think really the gain control does nothing, but with the volume control you can get some more manageable high gain tones out of this pedal, and you don't have to have the absolute insanity, just wall of noise, complete overdriven and sort of almost overloaded amp sound that this pedal is maybe designed for. I know I've played around with it a bit in some of the writing I've been doing for Meliorism, and so this will probably make an appearance at some point. And you know, it's another cool tool in the cabinet that will probably have its place if you're going for a specific style or thing. And it probably would have its place if you're sort of going for that 90s death metal thing and have a specific idea in mind for a section of a song, say. And so for that reason I don't think you can knock this pedal, especially because I haven't mentioned yet, but this pedal's about 25 quid new, and that to me is insane that you can get anything for that price, let alone something that actually sounds, to me at least, fairly decent, captures the sort of thing that it's going for rather well, and is a genuinely usable tool. Now obviously if you're going for a bluesy crunch tone, you're not going to get it with this pedal, and this pedal isn't for you. But if you, like me, love Entombed and that sort of 90s death metal and want a bit of that tone, it's fantastic, go for it. But there you go, so that's a look at the TC Electronics Eyemaster. Let me know your thoughts on some of these tones as well as the chainsaw thing in general down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out this album and let me know your thoughts on that down below as well, and tell me how much you love it, because it is a fantastically good album. But apart from that, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.